Art students, the whole hand. Brian Proctor, the art teacher, back again with another video. And this one we're going to talk about reference. Slide them over. Gotta be uniform. We're going to talk about reference material. Now, if you are a beginning artist and you don't know how to draw something, there's always reference around you. Find that reference. There's nothing wrong with looking at something and using it to draw whatever it is you need to draw. Now, these are some old toys that I had, because this is like an official drawing figure pretty much, because it does so much, but it costs so much money. So if you cannot afford something like this, which I think is like $110, you know, who would pay for $110 for something so small? I would. So I'm sure if you are a comic book fan, if you love comics or love to draw comics, you probably have an old figure laying around somewhere. Now, the difference between this figure and these other figures is that this figure can do a whole lot of stuff that these other figures cannot do. So like back in the day, you just got up and down. That's it. You got up and down, and sometimes you got a knee bend. So of course it's not going to be the greatest of reference, but let me use this Iceman here. Yeah, you can't get a lot of motion out of this guy. He doesn't split his legs. His arms don't go up and down, side to side. His head just turns a little bit. It won't go up and down. Let me keep this on camera because this is important. But check this out. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this fist. That's a nice fist. If nothing else, draw that fist. Let me zoom in on this thing right here. If you could actually see it. You see that fist? I know a lot of students that have trouble drawing a fist. Now, this might not be the greatest reference because it's clear, but you look at that fist. Take that fist and draw that fish from every angle, and then that is perfect reference for you. You know, now you might not want to draw the ice on his back if you're just trying to draw a person, but draw these fish. You can take any little old figure and find something on that figure that you can use. Let's take this guy. I think this is an old Richter. Or I don't know if he had this was an original gun or the gun was just thrown in there. But look at that gun hand. Look at that hand, just the way it holds that gun. It might not be perfect, but if you are a beginning drawer, this is gold for you. The other hand, don't die on me, bro. Don't die on me. Look at the face. Check out the face. The smile. Look at that. Perfect. 3/4 view. You might not want to draw that kind of face, but for drawing the nose, the mouth, the eyes, you might not want to draw that hair. That's perfect. Let's take a look at Gambit. Look at those abs. I mean, that's maybe not really, 100% accurate, but it's close. And if you are having trouble, find your old figure. Look at that. Look at he's swole. Find your old figures and then start drawing. Now, these hands are a little big because I think they were holding his stick or something, cards or something. But even the face, look at the mouth, look at the nose, that profile. You can do an upshot for some of these. I don't think his head tilts. Whose head tilts? Nobody's head tilts, okay? So look at the big guy. Look at the size of his head compared to his shoulders. Okay, the chest, what do you call it? Serratus muscles, these little muscles up in here, right in here. The abs. A lot of times the colors might throw you off, but check out this guy's arm. Check out this bicep, the muscles in that bicep, the side arm. Forget the gloves. Look at the triceps in the back. You can use this and draw one thing. Like if you take his hand, fist minus holding something. Let's take a look at this hand. Get it on camera. Take a look at that hand. If you take that hand and you draw that hand, take one day just to learn, and you draw that hand 5, 6, 7 times, different angles, then you will know how to draw a hand a lot better. So don't discard your old figures, or don't say, oh, I can't afford something like this, when you've got figures that you can use. Look at the inside of that bicep. It's a great start. It's a great start. Some of these guys have nice leg muscles. You always see me draw my leg muscles. Some differ, some don't, but it's a good start for you. Some of these guys might have some good back muscles. if you can, take some gray spray paint. If you have an old figure that's just like useless to you, take some old spray and spray the whole thing gray. That way you won't see the colors that'll throw you off. You'll see some shadow amongst the muscles. Who else? This little blue guy. I like this little blue guy. This was, I can't think of what this comic book was called, but I just like the way this guy was sculpted. You know, it's more of a realistic chest and abs. You'd have to like look at it real close. But that's good. Look at the hand. The hands are really good hands. Come on, show that hand. Don't be shy. These are good hands. As I say, just take one or two things from one of your old toys and then draw it. Position that hand. Position it to where it's in a good position. Some of the leg muscles, this guy's got like boots on, but let's look at Gambit's leg muscles. I think he has some great calves too. Leg muscles, look at them calves. Look at those calves. Let's lift up the coat. The back of his legs, the little muscles in the back of his legs, the muscles in between on the inner thigh, inner thigh. You know, it's a start. Nobody expecting you to be perfect. It's a start. Even his foot. If you go out and you see a cheap toy, maybe at the little discount booth or whatever they sell them, and it's more body than gadget, pick that up. Just the way the legs come down to the feet. If you could take this little piece off, that would be fine, but he's got really great shaped legs for you to actually draw the feet. Look at the feet. Rotate this thing. Draw these feet from different angles. Even if you pose it, you stand it up like that, and then maybe turn it to the side. You have your perspective shot on how the feet would go. So yeah, don't discard any of these things because you can't afford this or something as expensive as this. Go back, look through all your toys, see what you have, and then say, oh, that's a good foot, that's a good hand, that's a good face, that's a great back muscle, that's a this or that, and use that. Use whatever you can. As I say, if you can't afford it, go out and buy a good toy that's really sculpted well. It doesn't have to have all that articulation. If it's sculpted as close to a human body as you can use that. Even if you're not doing, crazy action poses, you can't do crazy action poses. I just broke his arm. Get out of here. This is live on video. How old is this thing? The price value just dropped. Okay, so let's see his back then. Since I broke this thing, I know somebody probably like, that's a Gambit from 1979 and he just broke it. Yeah, okay. It's for you guys. I broke it for you guys. I meant to break it. So as I say, go back and get one of these or buy one that has got a really close sculpted anatomy. Man, I broke your arm. Sorry, Gambit. No more throwing cards for you. Other things are books. Books. I think in one of my other videos I showed some books. So my books, and I actually ended up buying some more books. So let me show you. Now there are videos on, I think they call it like page flipping. So when people buy these books, they'll go ahead and flip the pages to let you see what's in them. And I look at those to see if I like the art, if I want to buy the book or not. But this is like the Apex Legends. If you get books on video games, they are a world of good. They will do a world of good to you. I'm not going to show you every page, but just creating your own world, your characters, these things are priceless, priceless. Even if you want to draw a pose, some of the poses are good. Once you learn a body, you can say, oh, I like that pose. You can draw that pose. I've done that a lot of times in my comics. Like, this is a nice little crouching pose right here. You got the two, I don't know what that is. You got something in one hand, something in the other hand. Just flipping through real quick. So much you could use. So many designs you could use. Let me get this on camera so I don't have to stop going up and down with it. I'm just grabbing a bunch of pictures. And there's always a number of character designs before they come up with the final product. So the coats, the way the buttons on the coats, whatever's on the side, the belt, the ropes. I like that, kind of like that. The hoodie, I like that too. There's so many designs that you can use out of these books. Now I ended up buying 4 books altogether. And let's go. I think they have a section on weapons. Let me go to that real quick. If you are a person that likes guns, these are some realistic, some really nice designs. They have some twists on some guns. There was like an animal gun under here, a couple animal guns. Invaluable. I think that's things like this are invaluable. Invaluable. A little horse gun. Never thought of something like that. Something with a little tusk on it. And of course, your backgrounds. Once you learn perspective, you can lay down your perspective for backgrounds. And I'll do that in a few seconds. But I'm going to show you just some things in this particular book. This is the only one I opened of the new ones, because what I want to do is I want to actually take in what's in the book. I just want to get it, open it, look at it. Oh, okay, look at another one. I look at another one, and then don't really get any value from it. So I'm looking at these one at a time, seeing what I can absorb, and then before I open another one. That's why you don't buy kids too many presents at the same time. Brian Wisdom. And I don't have the video game. I'm not really a fan of, running and shooting games. It takes you forever to actually beat these open world games. For me, I can't sit there for like hours and hours and hours doing it. I'll play a racing game or fighting game where you can just get right to it. But these open end worlds where you can just run around forever and ever, that I cannot do. Okay, that's a great 1-point perspective coming here, going there. Very nice. Okay, so that's one of the ones that I bought. Another one I bought, the Horizon Zero Dawn. Never opened it. Plastic is still on there. I'll take the plastic off eventually. But this was kind of like a modern, or should I say old school, and then futuristic with the little dinosaur creatures, the robotic dinosaur creatures. I saw some gameplay on that. I'm like, okay, that background looks good. Let me try that. And only I think it was like 25 to 30, no more than $30 for these books. And then the Art of Titanfall 2. I always like robots, as I said in the other video. A lot of mech designs, a lot of soldier costume designs, and a lot of world designs. And then, of course, my favorite, Overwatch 2. I love Overwatch's artwork. I love their stuff, the design. That is nice. I didn't even really look at any of this yet. I just pulled them out the box. That is, I like that. Never even looked at the back yet. So yeah, in all of these positions, you get a number of different positions you can put your character in. Of course, as I said, reference for clothes, weapons, what's the other one? Armor, material, buildings, whatever, backgrounds. If you take somebody's mountain and you move it over here, nobody will know. Stick a couple trees right there in the middle. Hey, it's now become your background. So let me take these heavy books off and grab some paper and show you a quick thing about perspective. If I have paper, copy paper. Couple sheets, it shouldn't take long. Okay, first of all, you have your plane or your ground, okay? Now this is my ground. Let me use this because it probably won't slide. Let's just say this is a person right here. This is a person on the ground. You are looking down at this person. So if your ground is like this, just there, and your person's there, you're looking right up at that person. But when your ground starts to go this way, or you try to draw your ground going this way or further down, then that's another story. So let me show you how to do that so we can stop drawing our characters just on flat ground like that. You want to do a little bit more, especially when you're drawing buildings and houses and so forth. Pencil. All right, as I was saying, this is your ground right here, and you put your character here on that ground. We kind of want to stop doing that. So if you wanted to lay that out, let's just say as a point, we're going to go 1 point perspective, 1 point here. So it's basically, it's a triangle. I'll draw another one here. Let's just say my point is right here, and this is my triangle. Okay, now it depends on how much you lift this triangle up, determines where your, let's just put this square here. Let's just say this is the bottom. The angle of your person, your building, your whatever is, because you can actually do this. There's a way to do that. Let me do this real quick. You take 2 poles, let's call them poles. Let's just say I want this pole about a foot. So in my drawing, this is going to be a foot away. If I can remember how to do this, it's going to be a foot away. So you find the center from here to the center of your pole on back. Let's just say that's the center of my pole. So then I want to take this line from here, and I want to go to this point right here, right in that center. I want to go straight down there. And then that's where your next pole is going to be, straight up. So you go to your second pole, and you're going to go to the center of your third pole right here. It's going to be crooked because I'm not using a ruler. And then you go straight up. So you go to your next pole, top to center, up. And then if you go from a line here, a line here, a line here, a line here, and a line here, it goes back in perspective. So you can say, I'm going to put my man right here, and each one is like a foot. So, and you can say, this is 3 feet, this is 6 feet. So I'm going to do a man, 6 feet. Looking for a pen that's going to write. Here's my man right here, 6 feet. I'm going to put him over here. Here's my guy. He's got to have a bigger head because he is 6 feet tall. He's down on the line right here. That makes him 6 feet. So I want to put another guy 1, 2, 3, 4 feet behind him. So this is going to be here. And then, of course, wherever the top is, you're going to have that his head here. Well, it's going to go, it's going to follow that. So when I say 1, 2, 3, 4, let's just say this is the 4 foot mark right here. This is where his foot is going to go, and his head is going to go up to the top. And he's going to be behind him. Perfectly balanced behind him. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4? I think that's the 4th one. I'm losing count. This is why too many lines are like math. And if you want another guy next to him, just draw a line straight across on that 4 foot away from him mark. And he's going to be the same size as this guy. Now, if you did these lines all the way back, they get closer as they go back, and they get smaller. So the guy's head is going to be right here. You can just say, if I want him in the middle, I'll take this line from here, and I'll draw a straight line over here, and then straight down, and this is where the guy's going to be at, right here. And this is the same thing with cars, buildings, other objects, trees, whatever. So I'm spitting on your paper, Brian. So just remember that. 2 here, 1, 2. Have the center line, or it's going to go from this point. You have your actual ground. You're going to have your actual height, and then you're going to have your center of that 2. You're always going to jump over to the next one, from the point to the center to the ground, straight up. Next one, from the point to the center to the ground. Well, you won't have the ground yet. You have this, and you straight down, then you have your ground, and then straight up. Same thing, all the way over and over and over. And these can be fences. It could be a fence. It could be lamp posts going down the road, however a lamp post looks like. I don't come out at night. Lamppost going down the road, draw it, Brian. Another one down here somewhere, and they will all be even, or it could be cars lined up. I'm not gonna draw a car, let's just draw a square or a rectangle like that. Here's another car lined up. They're sitting at traffic. Here's another one here. And he doesn't have to be perfectly lined up. You just inch him up a little bit more. Like that. So you'll be able to draw, and as I say, if you draw your triangle, it depends on how high you lift up that point. It's going to determine how much ground you're going to see, and you can always cut it like this. This is my ground. So let's say if you're doing a building, this can be a wall, this can be a wall, this can be a wall, and we're going to go right down to that point. This is going to be square. So you're going to go to this point. You're going to go to that point. This is rough. I'm getting rough again. There's my ceiling. So if I have the guy here, he's in that room. And with the same process you did this, you can do, or you can just kind of rough it. Here's a guy, he's standing at the back of the room. As long as his feet are below this line, this edge wall line, because if it's above it, he's floating, or if it's on it, then he's standing right there on the line. So it has to be below that. And then you can do somebody, let's say, there's another way you can do this too. Like if this belt, let's say his chest, just say that the chest is the same height. That's another way that's easier to do it from there. If you do somebody like this, and you take his chin back, and you do somebody like that, and you go back again, and you do somebody like this. As long as his chin is on that same line, or his chest, or his shoulders, whatever's on that same line, then you have perspective. You have somebody in line. So, because I don't have that his chest, let's just put his head right here. Like that. So you can have multiple people in that space by using that. But this one would probably be more your chin. I would have to have the chins the same line there. But since it's going back, a whole different perspective for this particular one. So since I have that ink, let's ink that, finish inking that. Ceiling, you can put, what do you call those lights? I can't think of those lights. As long as it goes back to that point. Track lighting, is it track lighting or is it just fluorescent lighting? Window, whatever. And everything basically is a square. And I told you that a long time ago. If you look at anything in your room is basically a rectangle or in the square family. That it's just easier to do that kind of thing. I was going to do a toilet. What does a toilet look like? A toilet got that this round here, and I'm like, man, and his head could be, he could be looking backwards. He's like, man, what is the toilet doing in the center of your whatever room this is? It's not a bathroom, because well, it could be a bathroom. This could be like a medicine cabinet, and it could be open, with just little medicines on the shelf, and could be the sink. Double sink, and the little drawers here, and the toilet way back there. So I'll have a tub somewhere back here. So perspective is easy once you get to know it, but it's basically, if you remember that triangle, just that's all it is, the triangle. You have your ground that you have to have your character on, whether it be flat or whether it goes all the way to just a big square, and you're looking at the top of them, you're looking down at them. There's his feet, his other arm, is his head. He's looking up at you and waving. He's like, hey, hey. You know, so it's just that point. If I do another one, and I put that point right here, and I go this way, I do another one, and I put that point a little higher. I do another one, and I put that point a little higher. So you can always, you say, this is where it's going to end at. This is where my road or my floor is going to end at. And then it could be anything. It could be some mountains or something back here. Could be a road, or you can just erase all of this, and then this could be still coming this way, and you can just use all of this instead of just cutting here. But as long as you know what this is, how high this is, that determines how much floor you're going to see. I think that's what I was trying to say. So if I want to put like trees, well, a tree here, depending on how big the background is, a big tree right here. trees back here, little trees here. So, because you already have your squares, so you can put a tree, you know, one on this square, one on that square, one on that square. Tree here. And then you can have your characters running around and doing battle or something. I don't know what that is, but it's a tiny guy. There's a guy right here behind the tree. Another guy back here behind the tree. Other soldiers way in the background. So far you can't see them. So just remember, reference is your friend. So if you understand how to lay your ground, then you can come back and say to yourself, let me find a good outdoor picture like this. You can do something like that. Let me find a good city picture. I think that's actual gameplay stuff. Like this. And you see that you're almost looking down at it. So your ground is going to be here. Your point is going to be somewhere way back there. This one is even lower. You see in the camera, you see how low you are to the ground. So if you drew your triangle, your ground would only come up so far, and then you can put your stuff in it from your 1 point perspective, unless you're doing 2 point perspective. But that ground is the same thing like this, for instance. You know, the ground is only coming up about so high. I would say this is as far as, this is your eye line right here. So that point would be right here, and there's your triangle, and then you just extend that. But they got everything going. They have everything going back into that 1 point perspective. So you don't have to have everything in the center. Let's just say we do this. This is my point. This is my ground, like this. So this is going to be here. This is this. So this point does not have to be here. This point could be here, anywhere. And then you just, like that. So if I'm doing a building or something, or if I'm doing stuff, it's going to go back. Come on, right, dude, right. It's going to go back this way. This is that 1 point, or that point is going here, and maybe if I want some to the side, I'll do this. My other point can be like right here, and then you have that same thing here. If I do this, and of course, this is all got to go to that point. So when you put something so close to that point, or real close to the edge, it distorts, because this is going way off here, and it's going way, and it's actually should be coming from there. But sometimes you use that artist privilege to, you know, just kind of fake it, especially in the beginning. And then you can have your people in here. And once you have your ground, and again, it's easy to say, oh, I like this. I want to use this type of flowers. I want to use that type of ceiling. You know, especially when we just did, where is it at? Where's the room? Like this room here. That can easily be that, because I've got as much ground here as there, but they are actually going way back there. But once you know how to put your ground there, then you can put anything there, as long as you have your point. I was gonna say point of no return. Then you can start using reference like this to add to your furniture or your exterior. They got a lot of outside stuff. They don't have a lot of inside that I know of. I haven't really gotten into the book too much. I just got it yesterday, and I got the rest today. So yeah, always add mountains somewhere. If you're outside, you add your mountain somewhere. But there's always a vanishing point. That's what I'm saying, your point where everything vanishes, and then would be your horizon line at this point. Right here, and then you start drawing your mountains, and you know, I could put a person right here, I could put another person down there. So yeah, and it's all coming from that point, which tells you what size to do a person. I know you didn't understand that, but that's okay. Same thing here. You have all of this, and you have her here. And this one is a perfect example. You have her right there in the foreground, and you have these cats in the background, and your horizon line is probably somewhere back here, and then they just put the little mountains up there. So reference, whatever reference you can get. I don't care how old the book is or what the book's about. If it's got something that you could use it. Use it. So that's going to be it for this 30-minute video. I can't get away from doing 30-minute videos, under 30-minute videos, because I'm about to ramble. So I'll see you guys. I hate that I actually wrote this. I don't know how old this Gambit was, but he's old. He had to be 20 years old or more. So yeah, look for this on eBay. Slightly worn, slightly played with. All right, so that's going to be it. There it is. Where's the other one? The hair, Ingrid. I'll see you guys later because I'm going to ramble. I'm looking for something to ramble about. So keep drawing. Keep drawing. Like I say my saying, keep drawing. Enjoy doing it. All right, I'm out.